Welcome to part 62 of Was I in a Cult? Quick recap. So Daniel finally decided to drop me off at his friend Pam's women's home. He stalled for as long as he could because he was trying to get with me, but it just didn't happen. I think he got tired of trying and finally decided to just drop me off. I didn't feel really comfortable being in a church outside of the church that I was from because I felt like I was kind of out of alignment from the will of God. But I decided to make the most of it because it seemed to be the only option at the time. Pam seemed like a nice person, but I don't think she had any better of a relationship with God than I did. She never taught me anything, and I don't ever even remember doing a Bible study with her or anything like that. There was no other women in the home. I was like her first woman, but I don't remember doing anything in that home, to be honest. They had nothing going on during the week and they only had services on Sunday. So I was completely bored. But at the same time, I was also coming down off of some of those crazy medicines that I was on, and I was able to rest a lot, and I just remember that it wasn't easy because I started to feel like I was climbing out of my skin, I started to get just antsy, and I just didn't really want to be there. I think one of the services actually kind of freaked me out too, because out of the blue, they just decided that they were going to have a deliverance service focused on me. And they just started pushing on my head and trying to get me to fall down. And I'm like, okay, they want me to fall down. So then I just was like, okay, I guess I'm going to fall down because they kept pushing me and they're going to keep doing it until I fell down, right? I wasn't falling under the Spirit of God, and I honestly don't even know if that is even a true thing, or if people just kind of fall because they know that's what they're supposed to do. So then I'm on the ground and they just start pushing on my chest area and they're praying against the spirit of homosexuality, I think, and just other stuff like that, and I'm just sitting there okay, this is kind of embarrassing, to be honest. And I just remember, I was just kind of let me just stop, because at first I was kind of fighting, because I think I was kind of freaking out about all these people praying over me in such an angry way, rebuking all kinds of supposed demonic forces, I guess. And I didn't feel like it was right. It didn't feel right to me. I feel like they were trying to make me believe that I had some kind of demons or something like that, which I still to this day don't believe that I did. I just think that whatever reactions that I was giving at the time was based off of the medication that I was using and coming down from, and it was causing me to sometimes react in a way that maybe wasn't normal to them. I don't know if that makes sense. But I will say that that type of medication, it literally makes you look crazy. It makes you look like you're a zombie and something is seriously wrong with you. You look like you're under the influence of something. So the church was just calling out all kinds of demonic forces and whatever, and I was just praying also to God, because I was yeah, God, if there is anything, please get it out or get it away from me. I didn't want to be attacked or oppressed or possessed or anything like that. But that's what's frustrating about cults that are in this sort of belief system, that they think that everything is demonic and everything is a demonic attack of the enemy, or I don't know, it's just everything revolves around this spiritual warfare in churches like this. I felt so completely isolated. I didn't know anybody in that church. I didn't even want to get to know anybody really, because in my mind I was just there temporarily because I wanted to go back to my own church. I definitely didn't feel called to stay at this church, and so I didn't really want to get involved with anything. I did have a little bit of fun with her daughters. They were really young, and a couple of them were just fun to hang around with, but I really didn't have any other adults to talk to other than Pam, and I don't know, she didn't really interact with me much. It wasn't like I could go hang out with other church people. I wasn't allowed to leave the home, which again is another reason why I don't think these homes are good, because how does it help an individual, like, to keep them locked up in like a place or confined in one location, and they're not able to work and they're not able to go out and do anything in the community? Like, how is that good for anybody? So long story short, one day I just got kind of bored and I was just like, you know what, I just need to go for a walk. Like, I needed to like walk and exercise or something. And so I went to Pam and I'm like, you know what, hey, I'm gonna go take a walk. And she's like, you're not allowed to go take a walk. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? The week prior I had already told her that I wanted to leave and go back to closer to where I lived and go back to my church, because I didn't really feel like I belonged in that church. She was refusing to help me or allow me to make any phone calls to get rides back home. I had asked her if she could actually contact Daniel and see if he could arrange to give me a ride back to Los Angeles to the church that I was a part of, and then I could go from there and trying to find a women's home within my church. And she did nothing to help. That night, when I just got extra bored and decided that I wanted to take a walk, she basically told me, if you leave, don't come back. And I'm like, well, I've been trying to leave, and I've been trying to tell you for a couple of weeks now that I want to leave and go back to Los Angeles, but I just need to get back there, and if you could assist me in trying to get back. And she was refusing to do that. And that's what's bad about cults like this, because this was like another cult that was like on the outside of our church. But that's what cults do. They put you in a place where you're like out in the middle of nowhere, and you have no phone, you have no contact with the outside world, and you're not allowed to leave. And if you do leave, they're not going to help you get back home to wherever your home is. I don't think she was trying to contact Daniel for me like I asked her to. So I just took his number and I was like, you know what, I'm going to the store. I'm going to go call him myself and ask him for help to get back home. I remember walking down the street and I had no idea where I was. I was just out in the middle of a freaking desert and just trying to find someplace like a local grocery store or something. And I just remember I just kept walking and like I couldn't even find a store. And then I ran into some people that were hanging outside, and it was this lady, and I told her, can you tell me where the nearest store is, because I just need to get to a grocery store. And she said, oh, we're gonna go to the grocery store in a little bit, like we can give you a ride. And so I'm like, okay, that's really cool. So thank God I just trusted the right person. They ended up going to the grocery store, and I was able to get to the grocery store and find civilization. So I remember seeing a hotel and going to the hotel and using their payphone to try to call Daniel, but he wasn't answering the phone. So at that point, I'm just like, I don't know what to do, because I didn't even know how to get back to Pam's house, and she said that I couldn't come back anyways. So at that point, I'm just thinking I'm gonna have to like hitch a ride or something. This really bothers me, because when you think about it, women sometimes decide they want to leave these places, and the only escape is to hitchhike home. If someone wants to leave a women's home, they should at least be provided with a ride home. When I think about this really upsets me, because if someone wants to leave a home and they're out in the middle of nowhere, they should actually be provided with a plan to go back home, whether it's contacting their family, one thing or another. Like, I had a family member that lived close by, and I could have gotten a ride with her, but I wasn't even allowed to call my own family members to pick me up. That's enough for most people to stay, but others like me decide to leave, and then we're in danger. I'm out of time. More later.